Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. As we wrap up this week of looking at prayers and prayers, we turn at last to the one you probably know the best, Mother Teresa of Calcutta. She was born in Albania, and by age 12 felt a strong calling to the life of faith. She had profound interest in missionary work and left home at 18 and never saw her family again. She spent time teaching in a school in India and then asked for permission to leave the school to engage in full-time work with the poor. She began that work with only 2 outfits, white saris with a blue border. The work grew until by 1950 Teresa founded the Missionaries of Charity, a Roman Catholic religious congregation that now has over 4,500 nuns and is active in 133 countries. The congregation manages homes for people who are dying of HIV/AIDS, leprosy, and tuberculosis. It also runs soup kitchens, dispensaries, mobile clinics, children's and family counseling programs, as well as orphanages and schools. Members take vows of chastity, poverty, and obedience, and also profess a 4th vow to give wholehearted free service to the poorest of the poor. In 1979, she was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, and you may have heard me say something I say often. Do you realize that they gave Mother Teresa the Nobel Peace Prize for doing what every Christian is called to do every day? Her love and outreach to the poor, neglected, and outcast is a model that all Christians can aspire to. Here is her prayer. Make us worthy, Lord, to serve our fellow human beings throughout the world who live and die in poverty and hunger. Give them through our hands this day their daily bread, and by our understanding love, give peace and joy. I'm sure you can sense the strong calling she had to help the poor in the words of her prayer. I also think it's important that she refers to those she was helping as fellow human beings. So often there's a tendency for us to look down on the poor, and even as we help them, to be patronizing or even unconsciously placing a value judgment on them. We may get beyond racism or nationality or religious differences, but class distinction is very difficult for us to overlook. Mother Teresa prays that she and we might be able to see all people as loved children of God, no better and no worse than we ourselves are. Her second sentence reminds me of our ELCA slogan, God's work, our hands. She prays that our hands might be the means through which God provides for others, praying that we might, in this small way, participate in God's work to transform the world. I also love how she echoes the Lord's Prayer when she refers to their daily bread. This phrase implies profound trust in God to provide for our needs. Her prayer then prays for God to bless us with understanding love. Again, notice that what she prays for isn't for herself, really, but for a gift to be able to love others more deeply as we have been called to do by Christ. Filled by the love of Christ, we offer that love, that peace, and that joy generously in everything we do. I think Mother Teresa challenges us in our comfortable complacency. I believe she would be confused by our relative wealth that we take for granted amidst an impoverished world. I believe she would stare mystified at our limited assistance for those at our borders who are fleeing unimaginable conditions. I believe her mouth would gape open in surprise at the abundance of our things when so many have so little. And as difficult as these things may be for us to hear, I suspect that as she might stare uncomprehendingly at us, With her stands Jesus. We are called to live love, even for those we would prefer to forget or overlook, especially for those we would prefer to forget or overlook. I do think that her prayer seeks something else that we don't think about enough, and I've already referred to it. What a marvelous gift it is to participate in God's work transforming our world into God's kingdom. In letting us be involved, God allows us to find meaning, and even more, in loving others, to find the depth of God's love for us. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.